Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene. My name is Molly Mae Culligan. My pronouns are she, her, and I am so happy to see you all. We have some empty chairs. Over here there's two, there's three right here, one right here. Please get to know someone that you have that you don't already know. If today is your first time with us, we'd love to get to know you. Right after service, you're invited to our welcoming room, which is located in our south entrance right over there. And if you're online, the link to our visitor forum is being dropped into the chat now. As you enter this sanctuary and at any point during the service, you may write your joys and sorrows in our book, light a candle, or place a stone in the water, which is right over there. Those joining from home can write prayers of joy and sorrow into the Zoom chat, which will be open until the start of the sermon. And during the week, anyone can go to the pastoral care portal on our website and let the minister know if you are needing any support. We gather in worship to find meaning and joy and live more deeply. Worship creates connections within, among, and beyond us, calling us to our better selves, calling us to live with wisdom and compassion. Whomever you are, whomever you love, whatever your image of the holy, we are glad you're here. And you'll notice on the table that there are some question prompts, and we will let you know when it is time to answer them. So now we're going to light our chalice, and my friend Victoria is going to help today. There she comes. Thank you. We light the chalice. We light the chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, with words from Karen LeBlanc. There isn't just a place of worship. There isn't just a fellowship of like minds. There isn't just a Sunday morning filled with spirit and topped off with coffee and cookies. This is our church, our community, our congregation, where we are building beloved community, where we are opening ourselves to each other, where we trust and love, rise and fall together. This is where we are welcome. This is where we belong. For this gift and so many others, we light our chalice. And now let's say together the words of our mission, which affirm our shared purpose. Empowered by love, we transform ourselves and serve our world.
Good Sunday morning, everyone. So great to see you here. My name is Jen Youngsun Rue, and I use the pronouns she and her. And I join Molly Mae in welcoming you to church this morning, even though maybe it doesn't look quite like church. We do have some seats up front in these two tables if you want to come forward, and please join us. I know things look a little bit different today. Instead of our pew-like chairs, we have these round tables scattered around the sanctuary and all the way back into the social hall, and I will explain why in a minute. But first, I want to introduce you to our newest staff member, Austin Eldridge. Where are you? There's Austin back there. Austin, whew. Austin is our new custodian, joining Ghani. Now that the building is fully open, it's being used constantly by the entire community. In the olden days, Austin, we would have called you the church sexton, and that just means caretaker of the church building. Back in those days, you would have been the one to ring the bells and maybe even dig a grave in our churchyard. But in this modern era, Austin is going to be here during the week, and he's going to be here most Sundays to help us set up and move tables and things like that and keep our building beautiful. So as you see Austin around the building, please introduce yourself and say hello to him. We're glad to have you. So it could have been Aristotle, it could have been Schweitzer, or it could have been an unnamed, long-forgotten woman who first said, "Look around and listen to that still, small voice and see if there is not some place in the world where you can invest your life. Look to that point where your gifts and the needs of the world meet." The spiritual writer Frederick Buechner put it this way: "The place God, or life, calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet." This coming spring, 2023, this coming spring in 2023, we'll celebrate the 10th anniversary of the dedication of this building. Yes. It's going to be a wonderful, happy celebration. Now, a decade ago, this congregation made an intentional and bold move to this corner at Chambers and 13th, at the boundary of two very different neighborhoods, Far West and Jefferson West Side. But, there were lots of transitions with ministers and the renovation of this building, and it didn't allow for a lot of deep contemplation about this community's rich gifts or where those gifts meet the world's hunger. But we've been talking a lot about, I think, the deep needs of the world. This hungry, hurting, beautiful, and magical world. Today, though, we invite you to declare your deep gladness, declare your talents, and declare your gifts. The reason that we're sitting around at these round tables is so that we can share those gifts and our passions with one another. And for our friends joining on Zoom today, I'll be at your table, so to speak, using the chat feature. And for those of you who are here in person, you may want to move to another table where you don't know anybody. If you're sitting with people you already know, you might want to shift your position. And the best time, I think, for you to do that is during the children's blessing. As the children move out to their classes and we're singing them out, that would be a good time to look around and see where you might want to place yourself to meet some new people. So come, let's meet and greet our neighbors and share with them our deep gladness. Come, let us worship together.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Ryan Doppelmayr. My pronouns are she and her. And I am so happy to be here. And I just want to acknowledge that for some of you folks, this is a bit of a challenge adjusting to a new site when you came into church this morning. And so we so appreciate your flexibility and your willingness to give it a try and acknowledging that this can be a little uncomfortable. We've got a lot of introverts here. And thank you for bearing with us and for being open to this new opportunity. So I am wondering if any of you folks would like to come up for not quite a story this morning, but a time of all ages, we'll call it. If so, I've got some cozy carpet squares so you can come up a little closer, see a little better. And if I'll just give a minute if someone wants to come up and join me, and I'll spread some of those out. We'll be with you in just a minute here. Thank you. All right, so happy to see so many of you folks here today. So I'm not going to tell a story with pictures, but I'm going to talk about who we are. My name's Ryan, and I'm a lot of different things. I think you guys are probably a lot of different things too, right? You come into this church every morning, but you're not just someone in church. You're a lot of different things at the same time. We all wear a lot of different hats. And I'm going to share some of my hats with you today. And then maybe you can tell me about some of yours. Okay? I bought this new hat yesterday at Pride. This is my trying my best to be an ally hat. Yeah. We've got my pretending I'm a gardener hat. Yeah. I could go on an adventure hat, right? Former U of O student hat, right? I've got a hat, sometimes I'm a reader, sometimes I'm a science fiction geek watching Marvel movies and Star Trek. We've got all kinds of things. All kinds of hats. I'm a mom, I'm a voter, I'm a poetry lover, I'm an activist, sometimes I'm a sportsman. I wear all kinds of hats. What are some of the hats? And when I'm here at church, I have been wearing this hat. I got this hat 20 years ago. This was my UUCE, Unitarian Universalist Church of Eugene, membership hat. Yeah, I've had that for 20 years. What are some of the hats, real or pretend hats, that some of you guys wear?
Fancy hat.
Simon, where do you wear your fancy hat?
Places.
I have a fancy hat too. It has a really pretty bow on it.
Ruby, you want to say that again?
I have 10 feather hats.
I have a Super Mario hat and a Minecraft hat.
So those would be your gamer hats, right? Yeah. I bet a lot of you guys have hats that you wear. Maybe they're invisible hats, but like maybe a student hat if you go to school. Yeah.
I have like an Among Us hat. Well, it's more of a beanie, but yeah.
Yeah, beanies count too.
I wear a musician's hat.
There we go. I bet we have plenty of musicians among us with musician hats.
I don't have a hat. I don't have one.
Yeah. You don't have one?
I have a blue dad hat. I only have one hat.
Yeah, but I bet you are a person who are all kinds of different things, right? Do you go to school? Yeah.
I'm the old hat, old Christmas hat.
A Christmas hat. So you could say, I have a go to school hat. I'm a student. Do you have any siblings, brothers or sisters?
No, I'm a baby sister, and mommy has a baby sister in the tummy.
Oh, okay, so maybe you'll be a sibling hat someday in the future.
I got a flower hat.
Okay.
I have a green baseball hat that has elf ears that my grandma bought me.
Very nice. Well, I love this hat so much. I've appreciated it. I love being a part of this church. I love volunteering in different ways. I love voting for things as a member of this church. But sometimes it's time to put a hat away, put it down, and put on another hat instead.
That's so true. Ryan does so many different things, and she wears lots and lots of different hats. So, Ryan, today I want to ask you if you're ready to exchange your church member hat with this staff team hat. Now, if you say yes, it means letting go of your identity as a member of this church and taking on a brand new identity. Now, we're not going to say goodbye to Ryan, but we do know that our relationship with you is going to change. And change, as we see this morning, is not always easy. One of the changes for you is that Sunday morning is no longer a day of rest and reflection. It's a work day now, Ryan. And another change is that I am now your supervisor, and this entire church is your employer. It's a big change, and one that I know you don't take lightly. And so, Ryan Doppelmayr, do you, of your own free will, take off your church member hat and take on the hat of Director of Faith Formation?
I do. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. So now we are about to sing our blessing song to welcome, to say goodbye to our youngest kiddos if they would like to join Teacher Mel and Teacher Indigo for a lesson in the classrooms. So preschoolers, kindergartners, and first graders, if you would like to head back, we will sing you out. Older kids, we want to hear what you have to say, and we would like to see if you would join us at our tables. All right. Also, as some of our youngest folks leave, they are probably opening up a few seats at tables if someone would like to scoot up or look for a different seat with someone that they don't know. So now we'll go ahead and sing you out.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace. May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
Are you sitting at a table with people you don't know? Because there's a table of just two up here. Thanks, Medley, for moving. Thanks, Victoria, for coming and joining that table. That's great. All right. I want to invite you all into a time of prayer, poetic prayer today. Today I bring you the poetry of Nancy Schaefer in a piece called That Which Holds All. I invite you now to just find a position that's comfortable for you, and you don't have to look at me, okay? So you don't have to like turn your body, you don't have to twist your body. You can just be comfortable where you are sitting. And breathe in Breathe out. Arrive in this moment and hear the words of this poem prayer. Because she wanted everyone to feel included in her prayer, she said right at the beginning several names for the holy. Spirit, she said. Holy One. O mystery. Eternal God. But then, thinking these weren't enough ways of addressing that which cannot be fully addressed, she added particularities, saying, Spirit of love, Spirit of life, Ancient Holy One, mystery we will not ever fully know, gracious God, and Spirit of this earth, God of Sarah, Gaia, thou. And then, tongue loosened, she fell to naming superlatives as well. Most creative one, greatest source, our closest hope. And even though superlatives for the sacred seemed to her probably redundant, but she couldn't stop. One who made the stars, she said, although she knew technically a number of those present didn't believe the stars had been made by anyone or anything, but just luckily happened to be. One who is an entire ocean of compassion, she said, and no one laughed. That which has been present since the very beginning, before the beginning, she said, and the room was silent. Then, although she had not imagined it this way, others began to offer names. Peace, one said. One my mother knew, said another. Ancestor, said a third. Wind, rain, breath. And one near the back said, refuge, that which holds all. A child's voice said, water. Someone then, womb, witness, great kindness, great eagle, eternal stillness. And then there wasn't any need to say the things she thought would be important to say that day. And everyone sat hushed until someone said, Amen. Back in March, when we were just starting to have in-person worship services, I had several conversations with some of you about our relationship with our local neighbors, about how we could better serve them and how we can have stronger relationships with them. This is the third part of our mission, right? Empowered by love, we transform ourselves, and we serve our world. So in the course of those conversations, we talked about something called asset mapping. I don't know if any of you have heard about community asset mapping. It's a tool that sometimes we can use to get a better sense of the strengths of this local area. Like, what are the institutions around here? What are the physical features of the land that we inhabit? What kind of voluntary associations are around here? What does this local community, what does the local economy look like? And who are the people in our neighborhood? What are their skills and what are their talents? And so throughout the spring and summer, as we were considering this idea, we decided that it would be a good first step for us to first map ourselves. Because a lot of us don't really know each other that well. I mean, we come to church, and then after service is over, we skip coffee hour because, like Ryan said, a lot of us are introverts. And so we don't really know how many of us speak ASL or Spanish, who makes puppets, who are the skilled storytellers, where do you all volunteer? Who works in local government, or who works at the shelters, or who works at the hospital? Who knows how to forage for food in the woods? Who knows how to help deliver babies? Who knows how to juggle? These are the things that we need to know about each other. This church is called to find the place where our collective gifts and our passions meet the world's hunger. So this morning, we're inviting you to have some fun at your tables with markers. And the instructions are on the screen. They will be in a second. And they're also on those white papers on your tables. So what we'd like you to do is write your full name, because we're going to collect these, so we need to know. We have a lot of Barbaras, for example, in our congregation. We need to know exactly which Barbara you are. Make a picture of yourself. It can be just a stick figure. And what groups do you belong to, either at church or out there in the world? What groups do you belong to? And what do you do for work, either now or in the past? What are you really good at? What is your special talent? And what do you care deeply about? What is your passion? What do you care about? And then here are a few examples that we did. There's Molly May. And there's me. And we've got Suzanne. And Ryan. And there's Joe. So we're going to do this together until a little before 11, right? And then at that time, you're going to hear Suzanne start to play the piano, the intro to our closing hymn, and that's your signal to wrap up. And I think that's all the instruction you need. Zoom folks, I'm going to be with you in just 1 second. All right, have fun. Oh, okay, we are going to collect those sheets and put them into some sort of organized chart or something, and we'll share that with you soon. Until then, let us say our closing words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace, my friends. Go in love. Keep talking to your neighbors.